everyone, this is Jordan from Sleeklens.com, and in this video I'm going to show you how to repair old images that may be damaged or prints that you may have that have scuffs on them and stuff like that. And I'm going to show you how to do that fairly simple. I probably didn't pick the best image to display this, as it might take me a little bit, but I'm going to show you how to do this. Very simple techniques, a couple tools that we're going to need, and it'll just be kind of a fun thing to do. So before we get started here, I want to highlight the person who kind of suggested this video, and they are part of the Sleeklens exclusive Facebook page, and their name is Mihai Micael. I hope I got that name right there. I'm going to put a little text down at the bottom there so you can see your name there. But thank you for the submission. This was a really good way to kind of get familiar with some of the techniques in Photoshop. So let's go ahead and roll into it, and I'll show you how to get that done. Alright, so we got this image here. Like I said, it's probably not the best one for my purposes because it's going to take me a little bit, but that's alright. It's kind of fun. So the first thing we're going to do is get our image, and we're going to go ahead and create a brand new layer. What this will do is, instead of just going ahead and making the adjustments on the original image, this will allow me to make all of the adjustments I need on this blank layer without having to really affect the old image. I want to minimize that as much as possible, so I can always revert back to some things that, something happens in the future. I can always revert back to the old image, so I always have a copy of that. And so before I get started, I'm going to choose the spot healing brush. Now if you don't see that over here, just click on, maybe most of the time a lot of people have like the healing brush there. I want to have the spot healing brush, so I'm just going to click and hold, choose spot healing brush. And the next thing I'm going to do is, if you have one of the later versions of Adobe Photoshop, you're going to see the content aware feature. That is the best feature to use with situations like this, because as you can see, I'm going to zoom in here, I got all these tiny little dots. And I could take the clone stamp tool and kind of clone all of these out, but it's a lot easier and a lot faster with the spot healing brush with the content aware feature added. So the other thing we need to make sure is sampled here is the sample all layers. We want to make sure that check mark box is checked so that it knows to sample everything, because if we have it unchecked and we paint over it, it's going to do nothing because it's sampling from a blank layer. So make sure you got that checked. And now we can go in and start painting. So as you can see, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in here and start taking some of these away. So we got this guy right here. I'm just going to click and draw like a little circle there, and it goes away. Simple as that. Same thing with there. Same thing with there. So all I'm going to really do for getting rid of these tiny dots here is just kind of go around and paint. And since I have the content aware tool, it works really well, even with different color areas. Kind of just painting over, keep painting. And you can just see how easy this is to remove these dots. Now again, I could have done the same thing with the clone stamp tool, but it's just a lot easier when you have this really cool content aware feature. So I'm just going to go around here and take out all these as much of these dots as I can, and then I'll come back and show you the next step. Alright, so you can see I just did a few little adjustments here. I took as much of this stuff out of here as I could with the spot healing brush. There's still a little bit left, but I'm not really going to worry about those because I'm going to do as much as I can with doing these simple tools and a couple little adjustments, and hopefully it'll look a lot better than it did. And so as you can see, if I were to toggle this off, you can see the before and after. So we got, here's the before, and there's the after. And actually what's really cool to see is when you toggle the original image off, you can see all of the adjustments made. And so this whole part is basically repainting this person. And so I just thought that's kind of a cool thing to share. So I'm going to toggle that back on, and now I'm going to go get my clone stamp tool. And I'm still going to do it on this one layer. I'm going to have all my adjustments on this one layer. And so you can see there's a couple repeating patterns in the hair. This darker area is still there. And there's just a couple areas that I really need to take care of to make it kind of blend in. So I got to blend in the hair here, and the spot healing or the clone stamp tool is a really good way to do that. And so I'm just gonna, what you do is you hold Alt or Option on your keyboard, and you'll see it changes to a crosshair. And here you can sample right here, and when I paint over it, kind of get that that effect there where the hair was. You can kind of see how that's coming back there. So my goal now is to try to replicate the hair, and that's just going along the same pattern and path without trying to see repeating patterns. That's kind of the tougher part. So I'm just painting that back in, and I'm sampling every once in a while. So you can see when I paint back in, I'll sample over here, and that just helps remove the repeating patterns that you might see. And so you can still see a little bit of repeating, so I'm gonna try to break that up. And these kind of edits are not like a 5-minute edit. I mean, when repairing an image, even if it's more simple than this, it takes a lot of time to try to make it blend in and make sure it all looks correct. So, and as you can see, I'm kind of following the shirt path here, kind of like that, and then I'm gonna do it that way. Bring back some of the black here. And so this is basically it, repairing an image. You're just going in here, really small edits at a time, just like that. So let's see. One thing we can do, you can see all these scratching in the black parts. We can actually do a little bit of enhancements to this. So we can do go to our adjustment layers here and choose levels. And this is not going to be specific to an image that you might be working on, but this one, there's a lot of blacks. So I can take the blacks and I can bump those up and in the levels area, and that will take away a lot of that the scratching. Playing around with the levels, maybe brighten the highlights up a little bit, play with that. And you can see how that just brings out a little bit more of the image. So let's get back in here and do some cloning. So I'm just going to go with my clone stamp tool. I'm going to go along the image and try to correct all the stuff that I kind of see here. Alright, so there we go. We got all the cloning out, and you can see how it's a lot better than it was. Just right there, you can see it's a lot better. And so one thing I'm going to do to get rid of some of this stuff up here is I'm going to use my paintbrush. Very simple. I'm going to get a regular paintbrush. So right around there. I'm going to feather that. Do 100% feather. Right there, hardness down to 0. And I'm going to get a black brush, opacity and flow all the way up, and I'm just going to paint black over there. Now this is, again, this is specific to this image. Most likely if you have images with heavy vignettes like that, then you could probably have to do the same thing, but this is specific to this image. So when you're repairing your images, a lot of stuff is going to be specific to that image. There's images that I've done where I basically had to paint back someone's arm. I had to make an arm or sample from their left arm to make their right arm, and those were techniques that were specific to that image. But these are the two basic tools that will really get you 95% of the way when it comes to repairing images. So let's look at, I'm going to take all my adjustments here, let's look at the total before and after. So this is the before, and you can just tell the photo was just gone pretty much. I mean, it was, if this was going to be in like a photo album of old photos or something like that, it would just be a really bad photo. But then that's the edited photo taken away, made it new again. And so that's the whole point of all that. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. Thank you to Mihai Micael for this video suggestion. This is Jordan from Sleeklens.com, and I'll see you guys in the next video.